this is Jazz from Caitlin Jazz Books, and today I am doing the Nostalgia Book Tag. When I was thinking of ideas for this video, I thought, hey, let's do something that no one else has done. So I thought I should do a video looking back on all the books that inspired me to read, or that I read in my childhood that I really enjoyed. And I looked it up on YouTube, and it turns out 2 other YouTubers already beat me to it. But I do believe that the person that started it all is called Maggie Ann Martin, so if you want to see the original, go check it out. I'm not asking any questions in this video, this is literally just me going through some books that I really enjoyed when I was younger, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, the first one isn't really a book, it's just an author in general, and one of the authors that I read a lot of when I was younger is Roald Dahl. And if you don't know who Roald Dahl is, then where have you been living? Can I see the rock that you were living under? Because he is one of the most well-known and amazing authors of all time for children. I still really like him, so here's to you, Roald Dahl. I just really loved his books. I really liked The Twits, George's Marvellous Medicine, Easier Trot, Danny the Champion of the World. I'm just going to go through all my books. I've got The Witches, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, though I have read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as well. And then I just have a random treasury of all his stuff, as well as some extracts and poems in a book. Those are all my Roald Dahl books. Basically, I just loved reading Roald Dahl because his characters were phenomenal, they were just so memorable, and he just described them in a really funny, easy to understand way, and as a 5-year-old reading them, then that was great. And the stories were like so original and just so engaging, and I loved them. And even before I could read properly for myself, my parents would read them to me. Like, we'd get them out of the library each week and read a couple, and then obviously I've got these copies of my own as well. I remember when I was reading Matilda, my mum was reading it to me. I threw up halfway through, and that's why I remember it. So any Matilda fans, that's my story of when I read Matilda. So that's Roald Dahl. Let's move on to the next book or person, or let's just move on. The second books that I always used to read when I was little was the Winnie the Pooh series by A.A. Milne, and I just love these books because this is seriously the most British book ever. And it's also the birth of Dan Is Not On Fire's accent, so there you go. Mainly just read the first 2 books, I have 4 here, but 2 of them are just poems. The first 2, oh, that was loud, are the actual Winnie the Pooh stories. Oh, this is bringing back so many memories just looking at them. You can see how old they are because the spines are yellow, but the rest of the book is white where it's been in that box. Oh, they're so old! I actually used to, do you remember cassette tapes? I used to listen to like the stories on cassette tapes before I actually had the books. When I was about 3, I'd go to my nan's and she'd put on my favourite Winnie the Pooh cassette, which was a great treat if I was good. And then every morning I'd watch like the little puppet TV show. Oh, memories. And then the cartoon came out. I don't know when it came out, but I used to watch the cartoon as well. I used to have a Winnie the Pooh rug. I still have a Tigger toy. That's so stupid. I have so much Winnie the Pooh stuff. I have Winnie the Pooh mugs. If you watched my other video, which I did, I had a cup of tea in a Winnie the Pooh mug. But yeah, these books are amazing. They're basically about a group of animals. Winnie the Pooh, the bear, Piglet, the pig, Eeyore, the donkey, and Owl, and Rabbit, and Kangaroo. For so long, I thought the baby, like, kangaroos were called roos because of Winnie the Pooh. And I used to spell honey wrong. I used to spell it with a U because that's how Pooh used to spell it. But yeah, I used to love the characters, and I just loved the way that my mum used to read it to me when I was little. She used to put on all the different voices, and then, oh, it's just so good. And the illustrations in these are beautiful, if I can find them. Like, look at how beautiful that is. Can you see that? Yeah, they're just so cute. There's so much on each page, just so amazing. I was about to put these books away, and then I opened it because I saw a piece of paper sticking out, and it's a piece of ripped up paper, and it was a bookmark that I made while reading it, which shows how much I didn't really read the poetry books, because I only got about halfway through. I didn't really enjoy poetry as a child, I didn't really understand it, but the Winnie the Pooh books were like, they were the top. But yeah, I just like want to know that. You probably don't, but there you go. So the third book I want to talk about is Carrie's War. Wait, who is this by? Nina Borden. And I only read this in like year 5 or year 6, I can't remember which one, but right at the end of primary school. And the reason that this got me into reading is because we were learning about like World War One, or wait, yeah, World War One, and all the evacuations and stuff. So they showed us the film Carrie's War, and I watched it and I instantly fell in love with it. Like, I don't know what it was. I really like war stories. I was a weird child. I liked the really sad, destructive stories about death and destruction and war and all these horrible things for some reason. I still do. Whatever. But yeah, we watched this at school, and I kept on talking about it so much to my mum that she bought it for me for Christmas that year. And to be honest, I don't actually remember what it's about, so I should read this again. Maybe it'll give me a sense of nostalgia, but it's a classic, so, you know, classics are good, you should read classics. The next book is also a classic. I was like a really cultured child, wasn't I? And that is Black Beauty by Anna Sewell? That's probably it. Anyway, I saw this in a charity shop when I was about 6 or something, and I just thought, that's such a cool cover! I judged a book by its cover. It's unspeakable, but I'm really glad I did, because look how beautiful this is. It's just so nice. And the illustrations, oh, all these books are such good illustrations, I love them all. But my grandma was with me, and she was like, oh, if you want it, you can have it. So she bought it. It was only like £1.50. It's so good. And for the next 2 weeks, all I did was read this book. 2 weeks was good for me, considering I was about 6. But yeah, I was really proud I read it. Because I just loved the stories, and I just really liked getting to each picture because the pictures were really good. Like here, we just got all the horses. Oh, there's just horses. Where's the coloured picture? There was coloured pictures. Where the heck are all of the coloured pictures? There are freaking coloured. There we go. Like that. I used to just want to read just to get to all the illustrations because they were so cute. But I just, the author describes stuff so well in this book. It's one of the better classics I've read. Like, usually I don't really read classics because I don't really get them, but if I understood this at the age of 6, then it must have been good. It was so good. Highly recommend if you're looking for a good classic, Black Beauty. This group of books is by an author, not an actual, like, just a book in general. And the author is Judy Blume. Basically, in primary school, they used to have like a certain amount of time a day where you would be like, you'd have to read. It was like a way of encouraging you to read, basically. And most of the books on the shelves were Judy Blume, so you didn't really have much choice. But I would always pick them out, and they were always really funny and light-hearted, and they're really easy reads. So when I think I read these in like, I started reading in like year 5 or whatever. So I probably started reading them in year 5, 6. At the end of primary school, and at the start of secondary school too. But basically our primary school library, had a massive clear out because all the books were so old, and I saw all these Judy Blume books and I was like, I gotta have them. And then the same thing happened at secondary school. Like one day they had a massive, like, I think it's for World Book Day, they just had a massive book sale, and there's always Judy Blume in there, so I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna buy these and I'm gonna read them all, because look how thin they are. They're so small, and they're all sort of intertwined in the same way. Like all of them have roughly the same characters, and they all manage to meet the characters of the other books in some way. And I just liked how it all interlocked. And like she's one of the very few authors that can actually make me laugh. Like they're so funny, some of them. I just love them. I love her. Thank you, Judy Blume. If you're she's not. I can't actually remember when I read this next book. But I did reread it a lot. I do remember that I did reread it a lot. And that was Peter Pan in Scarlet by Geraldine I can't read that. McCorrine. Geraldine McCorrine. And this is so cool because it's like, you pull it out and it's got like a hardcover on top of a hardcover. It's so cool. This is a special edition book. And it's, wait, I'll find the thing. This limited first edition is number 471 of 1,500 numbered and signed copies. and it was signed by the author, which is so cool. Like I think this was my very first signed book that I ever had, and it was so cool. Basically, it follows on from the end of Peter Pan, and it's about all the children returning to Neverland and meeting up with Peter Pan again and hanging out, and fighting Captain Hook and things like that. And the let's do that again. I mostly loved it purely because of the illustrations. Once again, because as a kid, you just see a load of words on a page and you think, oh god, I need something to come with this. So, like, I'll try and find a really good one. Where are the good illustrations when you need them? Like that. They're just so cool. And, they're just awesome. And they perfectly go with the story. Like, all the illustrations match exactly what the characters are like in my imagination. And they're just so cool. And I've always loved, like, the Disney Peter Pan growing up. I know the original tale is a lot darker, but I love the Disney Peter Pan. It's pretty much like that. I've read it so many times. I've read it like 50 times. Like, I read it the first time when I first got it, and then I thought, oh my god, this is so good. So whenever I ran out of a book to read, I would just read this because it's so cool. And the last sort of author that I used to love reading all the time, and I still do, is, oh god, I've got so many, Michael Morpurgo. Like I said, at primary school, you had to read books at a certain time of day, and I think I got all these. I got all these in one set for my birthday one year, after reading a couple of other books. And I remember we did Kenzuki's Kingdom for a school project in like year 4 or something, and we had to listen to the audio tape, and then we had to read it together out loud and like act it out and all that kids stuff that you do. But it's honestly one of my favourite books I've ever read. It's about a boy that gets stranded on an island, and he befriends like a man that was washed up like a lot of years ago, and they become friends and stuff, and it's so sad. Michael Morpurgo books, the reason why I love them so much is because they are the first books that could actually make me cry, like, over a book, which is such a cool feeling. Like, it's terrible, but you know it's a good book when you cry at it. Like, unless you shed like some sort of emotion, it's just not a good book. But these are the first books that like properly made me cry. Like I said, I was a sad child who liked to read really depressing books, so this is where that comes from. I think one that made me cry the most was Born to Run. It's like the life of a greyhound and like all the different owners he has and stuff. Another one, Michael Morpurgo, that's the author's name, Casper, Prince of Cats. Oh, that's so sad. It's a Titanic story. So sad. One of my favourite ones to read all the time was Cool, and it's about a boy that's in a coma, and he's just talking about like his life and about his dog and stuff. That's why there's a dog on the cover. And then we get into the hardcore Michael Morpurgo. So there's War Horse, which I'm sure a lot of people know because War Horse is just amazing. I love the film. Really want to see the play at some point because it looks awesome. It's about a horse during World War I and about his owner and how he tries to get back to him. And this isn't just the normal version. This is an illustrated version. Ooh, I opened straight onto an illustration page. So this is a special edition, which is awesome. So yeah. Another one that my grandma bought me was Shadow. He always seems to write about animals for some reason, but yeah, whatever. It's about a dog during where is it? She's in a place that's affected a lot by terrorism. It's about a boy that looks after her and is trying to cross the border to a safer place to live and stuff. It's about a boy trying to immigrate into the UK? The UK? Or America? I don't know. UK, because Michael Morpurgo is British, so it must be the UK. And the most recent one, which I got for Christmas last year, is Listen to the Moon, and it's another war story about a girl that is washed up on an island and she can't speak any English. So they're like, who is she? Is she a German spy? And it's so good, so good. But yeah, I would highly recommend for anyone that's starting out to read and they just want a really interesting plot. I will admit, I do not like all of his books, I only like a certain few of them, but when you pick the right Michael Morpurgo book, it's really good. I have got another one of his books up there on my to be read shelf, which I saw in a charity shop for like 20 pence, so I picked it up. But I never got around to reading. I think it's called Running Wild? The one with the elephant on the cover. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're wondering why I was looking down a lot, it was a piece of paper, because I actually planned this video. I was so excited to make this video. Sorry, it's rustling a lot. So I planned this video, so if you want to see more planning videos instead of just me winging it a little bit and looking a bit confused, please give me a like or a thumbs up or whatever the heck it's called. Please comment on the video, because I really want to hear if you guys enjoy these books and if I should make another video like this, because there were more, I just couldn't include them all. Like, just quickly, like the Spy Dog series, Harry Potter, things like that, but I just wanted to include books that I hadn't mentioned before. So, yeah. Please subscribe as well, because it's free! Wait, what was the thing that Caitlin did? She was like, leave a like, subscribe, I don't know, I'll look at another video. Comment, or something. I don't know what she did. But anyway, we will both. It's either we will both see you next week, or Caitlin will, but it's not me, so bye guys. Bye!